4 presents Season 4 Wrap-Up.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And Season 4 is out the door. Season 5 is feeling alive. Season 6, picking up sticks.
Season 7, we're sending the show to heaven.
Do you think that people used to pick up sticks more? And that's why that's the common rhyme for 6? Because I don't pick up sticks that often.
Maybe, again, you're probably going to make fun of me for being a homeowner. If you have trees on your property and you're responsible for it, you do spend a good deal of time picking up sticks. Because you don't want to go over those with a mower, you know?
What happens if you go over them with a mower?
Oh, it's just bad for the blade, and it might stop it up. It may kick a part of it out at a pretty high velocity and hit something.
Or like your shin, like you kind of arrow your shin.
Yeah. Just so you just don't want to. You want your blades cutting soft grass. You don't want them cutting something hard that could achieve velocity. Is kind of the thing. I know that there's the game Pickup Sticks, that people used to play before we invented entertainment.
For TV.
Yeah.
Before smartphones.
Right.
Hoop and stick. Ball and cup.
Hoop and or stick. Yeah. But picking up sticks as a home maintenance activity, it's frustrating, especially if you have a neighbor's tree that overhangs your fence. And all of a sudden you're picking up their sticks. Oh, she's like a 65-year-old woman.
She's got to go. It's always weird that it's part of like nursery rhymes. I guess kids were made to do their adult chores.
Yes. Well, they're low to the ground. They can pick them up.
Yeah. It is way easier to bend over when you're a kid. Like as an adult, like that stuff's an emergency. But as a kid, I could do that all the live long day.
Oh yeah, your back is basically just a green shoot. It is it is not turned into a tree.
It's fun noodle.
Yeah.
We're talking about the season 4 wrap up
and picking up sticks. We can go back to that anytime we want to.
I might when I'm walking to band practice later. Maybe I'll pick up a stick just for old time's sake.
Pick up a stick and throw it. Keep it for a dog.
Yeah. Or maybe run it along a fence. Mm-hmm. Do one of those things, or stick it in somebody's bicycle spokes. Take that, commuter. Take that, green machine. You're helping the planet from down there on the ground in the pavement. Yeah, right.
Just picturing the idea of some kind of just eco warrior driving or riding a green machine in order to reduce. I agree with you. That's fine, but also
dork. Like they can still be a dork even if you agree with them.
True.
Most of the people I agree with are dorks.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders. So we're talking about the finale of season 4, my favorite season of the show.
I mean, we're doing the wrap up. We talked about the finale last week.
Oh yeah, the final bit of coverage.
Whew. Okay,
not the finale of the season, but the finale of the season of the show.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Doing the wrap up, talking about the DVD special features, hitting our first and worst for the season, and reading your listener mail. Although we don't have any letters about season 4, which is probably my fault for not putting out the call. But we do have miscellaneous letters to read. Yeah.
That's quite all right. Next episode, we'll be talking about the From the Ladle to the Grave, the Shallow Gravy story.
Love it.
And then Avenger Halloween. Mm-hmm. Both interstitials, both real fun. And then we'll be getting into season 5.
Season 5. Yeah.
I'm excited to revisit it, even though I remember it not being super great. Knowing that the boys are really excited about it. Mm-hmm. I want to look at it kind of through that lens.
Yeah, I want to look at it through the lens, especially to read about the making of it too. You can usually borrow some enthusiasm from their process that they went through. I mean, like reading about them coming up with stuff, for season 5 during the writing session for Operation Prom. That was nice. And it gave some context and things to look for. And Spanakopita is an amazing episode.
Yeah, there are cute episodes for sure. The great Tim Meadows ends up being in the Sphinx episode. And, I love Tim Meadows.
Yeah.
Out of sight.
Good baseball fever, catch it.
Baseball fever, catch it.
So we got these DVDs. You know, usually we talk about the packaging a little bit because a lot of care and love goes into making them. Because this was released in 2 volumes, there's two that are very similar looking. Both
They're
of them
themed.
both of them their jacket is made up to look like the chest portion of a speed suit. You got the you got the patch, you got some pencils in there and some pens in a pocket and stuff, and it's pristine in S1, and in S2 it's all messed up, covered in blood and ashes and stuff like that.
Well, and the DVD case is the nipple. It's the chest under.
It's the torso, yeah. Very clever.
And yeah, very clever. Consequently, the design stuff on the show is absolutely impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
It has been.
Yeah, Doc Hammer does an amazing job at that stuff.
Does super good. Let's get into the deleted scenes, then we'll talk about the other special features and such.
Yeah, I didn't make any notes about the kind of dud deleted scenes here. So if there's something that you saw that I didn't see to include, feel free to throw it in, Gary. Something that I like about their presentation of this that they didn't do before is that they will do a little bit of a lead in to each of the deleted scenes with the full animation, right? And then they will kind of do a crossfade into the animatic. And then do a fade back out. That is a really good approach for presenting this stuff, and I'm happy they figured out a way to make it visually make sense.
Agreed. One little thing that I don't like between the 2 parts is that the first half of the DVD plays all the deleted scenes as one file.
Yes.
The second one has them as individual menu items, which I like less. I think that just watching them all at once, even before I was doing it for the show, that's how I watched deleted scenes. I didn't finish an episode, then watch the 20 seconds of animatic, then watch the next episode. Mm-hmm. It was always a roundup.
There is the play all button, but that always feels like the I'm feeling lucky button on Google. I'm getting lucky is what you find on Pornhub.
That's when you go to daftpunk.com and press the I'm getting lucky button to hear the charming MIDI. You don't know what they're going to play first, whether it's going to be the deleted scenes first or one of the other things.
Yeah.
So I don't like the play all button very much.
Yes. Yeah. So let's get into it. We got some deleted scenes from Handsome Ransom. It's very minor, but I like the bit where the Monarch praises Hank for calling Rusty a honky.
Yeah. It just seeing that scene again was good. It wasn't it doesn't add very much to it. I think the joke here, because it's animatic, it's kind of hard to see, is that the Monarch raises his hand to give him a high five and then realizes Hank is tied up. And that's cute. But the honky is I like the comic timing of the original version of it a little bit better.
Yeah.
A little quick.
but just the childish the childish level that the Monarch is operating on, and him really admiring Hank's work is good and heartwarming.
A little bit more Captain Sunshine. I love it. He's oh no, sir, not another one. He goes, he's an orphan. Smell his jacket. It's such a weird. I wish that had stayed in. I think that's very funny and strange. The idea that orphans have a specific smell, which is probably true. As an orphan, I've definitely started stanking more.
I just say, nobody who has parents who are taking care of them will let a jacket get that filthy. Which the secret is all of us could be washing our jackets more, probably.
Sure. Well, and also it's Brock's jacket. It's Brock's blood and sweat soaked nightmare jacket.
Yep.
It's so it ends up making sense. And then the Monarch, to set up the second meet, sends a fax, and it looks like it's just a bunch of code, but it turns out that it's ASCII art of Rusty's head with the word "smells" on it. And my favorite part of this is well, we know Hank's still alive. Very good, Hank.
Oh gosh. The Revenge Society. I thought that this was cute. There was an extended bit when the Red Mantle and Dragoon were waking up, and it's like, why is the bed wet? And it's like, oh, I think I might have peed. No, that's blood. And I think it's Dragoon who says, why would you pee blood in my bed?
Yeah, very good, very cute. The Better Man has the Order of the Triad talking about the fear ratings. Again, this is something where I like that they cut it. The timing's better.
Yeah.
When he's Jackson or Jefferson's like, I'm at a 5, and we should all be at a 10 is better than what they have here. The little shtick.
Yes. Yeah.
And then after the "aren't you a little ashamed of your ignorance" bit where Hank thinks Al is transgender, he says like, "Why? Here's my advice. You should run away, see the world. In fact, why are you still here?"
Yeah. And Hank says he's staying because of 3 words: free cable TV, which is a funny idea, but cutting on the all the time that's a better cut line.
It's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so interesting to see the way that the editing.
Oh yeah.
The stuff they do a lot of good work in the edit. That's a Doc thing, and a lot of this stuff when they're cutting things, they do good timing.
Yes. Yeah. That line is cute, but it absolutely makes better sense to have Hank cut away on that one.
Some non-jokes during self-medication. Initially, I like the end, the last, all the stuff with hatred. And the movie theater I like much more.
Yes.
For deleted stuff.
Yeah.
But kind of a confusing Monarch Rusty chase sequence where the Monarch is comparing the doors he could choose to different like life choices.
Yeah.
He could have made, as opposed to it just being like a death trap thing, which is how the final cut plays out.
Yeah.
And then a return of Hector, who we saw diving in the pool during the therapy scene before, but now he asks, they set up Jonas not being there for the therapy in advance.
Yes.
Which is taken care of by him sneaking in. Yeah. We don't need this.
I like the revelation of the sneaking better than Hector here. Although I do love the fate of the boy.
Yeah.
Just completely forgotten. We have the therapist doing kind of this extended intro, underlining, kind of one of the themes here. Boy adventures have no childhood, and that's why they're fucked up. I'm ambivalent about whether or not that would have sufficed. It's very clear that they wrote way more for the therapy section than anything else, and that's where most of the cuts are. Like Patton Oswalt's character, Wonder Boy 2, gets most of the cuts from that. Yeah.
There's a good little bit where he's talking about herpes as the fruit of the month club for your lap. Lap has always been one of my favorite euphemisms for genitals.
Okay.
Lap is really nice and non-specific. It's gender neutral. It's mysterious. It disappears half the time.
Yeah. It's illusory.
Yeah. It's like some kind of castle that only exists during the full moon, but for your body.
You mean Castlevania?
Yeah, it's a very Castlevania-esque lap.
The lap only appears once every 100 years.
Lapplevania. This little extended bit with them Rings of the Realm 3 Return of the Realm is great. I love it. Just like, why, you pulled up my browser. Why don't you hack into fandango.com? What's the web address? I don't know. Google it. This is all very good of hatred being an old man at computers and Hank being fucking a Hank.
Yeah. Just like it opens with him typing and saying, "I'm in." And he just opened the browser.
Just open like Chrome or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they all recoil because instead of writing fandango.com, they wrote mandingo.com.
Yep.
Which is racially insensitive term, but also like that will show up in porn tags.
Yes, it will.
Even to this day in 2021. And then they do 3 senior tickets to save a little bit of money, which Dean, of course, is shocked at.
Yeah.
And Hatred does his little stump speech about how they get you with ads and trailers and stuff. Who pays for that? That Kid Rock ad for the Army? It's awful.
Guess you pay for that, your tax dollars. They got you coming and going, which it's true.
The callback is very good.
Oh yeah.
Of him trying to get back in the, so he just ran away in the original episode here, which is a little weird. He's abandoning the boys. Here he tries to get back in the theater to get the boys, but can't because his ticket stub says he's a senior.
Right. And he's only 49. He answered about his age, honestly.
Yep.
Good
deleted scene there.
The diving bell and the butter glider has a kind of a strange one. It's not a cut sequence. We get just a full screen close up version of the hench suit presentation, so we can see some of the details. I appreciate that.
And then some more butter glider.
Yes.
Stuff. Dr. Mrs. the Monarch saying like, why do you need this? Everything you have flies.
You have a flying car. You have a flying house. You've got wings on your suit, for Christ's sake. Yeah.
And this also, the bit that doesn't come across super well in the episode, but of him doing this for Midlight Crisis, he's like, it makes me feel young.
Yes. Yeah.
So they kind of added some support to that, before cutting it. Pomp and Circuitry.
I love this.
Has some good little bits.
Just a good bit of Passover Seder humor, because the council at the beginning, they're talking about like, yeah, we're gonna need to find a new member because of the merger between Red Mantle and Dragoon. Hey, the merger is very good, but one of them talks about the empty monitor. I think it might even be Vendetta who says this.
It is Vendetta.
Yeah. Who says, and why are we keeping this empty monitor? In case Elijah shows up.
That's very funny.
which is a thing at Seder. So you keep an empty chair for the prophet Elijah.
Yeah. Professor Impossible, when Phantom Limb shows up and he's kind of stretched around his lab, he talks about Howard Hughes's rules for milk.
Yeah.
Here. This is kind of cute, but also they already did that with the jars of urine.
Yes.
And the Howard Hughes gets across fine. I think this is gilding the lily a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Also, it's just kind of like straight up just pulled from The Aviator. Almost pretty much word for word. I want to put in a plug. There's a biography that The Aviator is a good movie. One of the best biographies I ever read was a Howard Hughes biography. I think it's just called Howard Hughes. Listen to that in audiobook form. Oh, God damn it. 15 years ago. Shit. Yeah. Fascinating life. Piece of shit, dude. Yeah. Fascinating life.
Biographies, for me, the person has to be a real fucking weirdo for me to get into it.
Howard Hughes, famously well-adjusted man.
No, I'm saying that sounds interesting because people are always like, what about this biography of this great man?
Yeah.
And it's just about inspiring stories of his childhood and shit.
Yeah.
They got to be absolute fucking nutbags for me to want to read a biography.
I want to learn about James Madison through his correspondence.
Yeah. That shit. Like, even people who I'm interested in. There's like a 10-volume Lovecraft biography thing that S.T. Joshi winked off into, and I can't.
No,
I can't.
No, can't. Can't.
And that guy's parents went insane from syphilis and stuff. Like, there's interesting shit there, but it's not enough of a weirdo. Brisby. There's an extended version of the Brisby speech. Talking about being mad about piracy and disappointed with the college building his money bought. This had implications. Later in a deleted scene, they talk about it being the Brisby Impossible Consolidated General Insurance or whatever, tying in the investors. They cut that from this. But it's like, oh, that ties Brisby into it. Brisby. I wonder if they made that cut for time, and for better timing, which it did, or whether they made that cut because it gives us a plot dangler that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. And, just like, let's cut those theories off. It was a gamble to even include Brisby for that one line. It's
good that he still exists in the world. It's weird that Walt Disney disappeared from the world.
Yes.
And they're just because he's not super funny in the show.
Yeah. I love Rusty's passed out mare.
This is really good. That get me home, son. I can't because you're on fire. Like all of the stuff. Dean is really good in this, and then them waking up like, you made me drive. So he crashed into the fountain. After you got kicked out of the sorority party for drinking all the wine coolers.
And it just again there's a huge like heart or lack of it in this, and like just in the dream version of the scene, something's wrong because Rusty apologizes to Dean for messing up his future. In the
second bit, that's in the real version. At the end, Dean goes, "Am I in trouble?"
Oh, yeah.
And Rusty says, "None of this is your fault. It's mine." Father's fault.
Yeah, so I guess to take your responsibility. The off thing is him saying it's my fault, and then the real version saying it's my father's fault. Him shirking that is very good to me.
Yeah. The Bright Light Scene City has a bunch of good stuff. It's interesting here. Dean, showering with his clothes on or not showering at all. A little cute bit. But we actually finally get to see Beastradamus.
We do. I love that Beastradamus predicts 9/11 10 years too late.
Yeah.
A tower on fire in the middle of the city, the kingdom in decline.
Yeah. Yes, we'll call you. I predict, sadly, you won't. And then Brainial applying, and I love this. He's past the retirement age, even though he hasn't been born yet.
Yep.
Which is like very funny. A little bit.
Oh man, this feels like necessary context. Brown Widow lives across the hall from Dean.
Yeah, lots of Brown Widow stuff got cut. Him showing off his eyes, him molting, him like laying into Dean about wanting to be a boy reporter. He's like, "Damn it, kid! The newspaper industry is dying. Like, you don't want to do that."
Yeah, they'd be like wanting to be a Cooper or a wheelwright.
Yeah, yep. Really good bit with them. With Lady Hawk or Lady Bird Johnson, finally quitting.
Yeah,
tell my wife I forgot to buy milk and that we quit. And them in what we will later find out to be the Monarch child at home. Here, Edward, and I love this little bit with Professor Impossible. Like, why does every one of my schemes blow up one of my buildings? I got an ice station, a couple hours, you can blow that up. And then Dr. Killinger appearing from the fireplace.
Yes,
to help them out.
To straighten them out, which implies that the Revenge Society would go on to be more of a successful operation, because I don't see them turning down his advice.
Yeah. Yep.
They would sign.
The Silent Partners, we have a little bit more about how Sphinx's OSI connections, them using old passcodes to like draw on their funds and such. Not laugh a minute stuff, but just kind of background lore.
Yeah, setting up some of the context and reminding you of their connection. Operation Prom, though, has, I think, my favorite deleted scene here, which is Shallow Gravy negotiating with Pete, who was acting as the DJ at the prom, about what their set ought to be. We get more of the names of their songs, which is really good.
They had like what looks like a 45-minute set list planned.
Yeah.
They get 2 songs and then they name 10 or 12 they're going to cut.
Yep.
Here, and they're going back and forth like, oh, that's the one where I take my shirt off, oh, that's the one with my bass solo. Going back and forth is really good. And it's like, we're gonna have to cut Dream Police, and he's like, that's our best song. He's like, yeah, you never close with a cover, you want them going home with your song in their head, which sounds like just like Doc Hammer real life experience,
right? Yeah,
stuff. And then he'd be like, that's a cover, it's our best song.
Yeah,
I know. I lied.
I just love it that Dermot led Hank to believe that he wrote Dream Police.
It's very funny.
Yes,
Dream Police is one of the funniest songs.
Oh, it's so good.
You listen to the lyrics of that fucking song. Like, it's very literal. Like, oh man. Cheap Trick rules, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
You can like put on a Cheap Trick album and it's really good, like power pop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Cheap Trick is great.
Oh, I mean, just roll the dice on them and you're going to be pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. And their late albums surprisingly have lots of bangers on them. Since they're from Rockford, they have their album Rockford, Illinois. That was where my ex-wife is from. I used to spend a lot of time in Rockford, and the radio stations played a lot of Cheap Trick,
of course, and
they would play every once in a while deeper cuts because it's kind of their version of like Bruce Springsteen or whatever.
It's Hometown Heroes.
Hometown Heroes. And every time they'd play a song, I'd be like, what is this? This fucking is good. And then it would turn out to be Cheap Trick.
Yeah. No, and they've got different sounds like from different eras, and they sound good in all of them. Like, yeah,
legitimately a very good band.
Yeah,
underrated.
Yeah, also imagining, that's Dream Police is a pretty out there song, like instrumentally too. So imagining just a bass and drum cover of Dream Police, they can't have done a really good ridiculous job.
Bass and drum machine.
Yeah. Oh man. And then there is a deleted scene where Brock doesn't believe Molotov that the sex workers are her Blackhearts. She says, "Oh, do you want to double check?" And he tries calling Rusty, and one of them picks up. This actually confirms that the sex workers are Blackhearts, which I thought that she was just lying, because it's easier for me to believe that Molotov is lying than it is for me to believe that the trained assassins forget their duties because of the dance.
Yeah, well, they don't forget because of the dance; they forget because of the Spanish Fly.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. It had the effect, the intended effect before it had the unintended effect.
Yeah.
I think is the implication.
Yeah, I was mistaken no matter what. Yeah.
There is a promo that they put for Comic-Con for season 4. Starts with the fourth of anything being the most important. and going through like movies that are fourths, you know, like Star Wars and such, until they get to like 4-H Club and stuff like that. And then it's a really fun, dramatic cut of the show, full of action, like to a really banging J.G. Thirlwell song.
And it's funny because it is very well done, and it feels intentional. You know, it feels intentional. Like, yeah, this is high energy, high impact. And then to hear the boys turn around and say, like, man, you know, people think we're a different show than we are. I was like, gesture wildly at this cool thing you guys put together. Like, all of those moments are cool and good, but
you're playing it as such. I like that the red flags or the red herrings. They place in here. I love ending with "It's me from the future. We have to stop before the angels of destruction." You know, that's very cute. Here, there's a thing called Lost Opening here. This is in the show. Like, we watched this.
Yeah,
I don't think this is really a lost anything. I can't remember which episode it is, but we definitely talked about this because I've watched it recently. Because
it's weird. It's weird that the Monarch has a danger room. Yeah.
I mean, it is weird that he has a danger room, but I'm sure we talked about it.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember which episode, you know, but this is not lost. This is on the Hulu version of this show.
Weird. Yeah.
I don't know which episode it was, but I guarantee we've talked about this.
Yeah. No, but it's just, it's a mission against the Ventures going well. And then the simulation breaks down when 21 kisses Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch.
Yeah. A second Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch comes out and starts making out with them.
Yeah.
And it's cute, but again, I don't know. I wonder if like in syndication or it was cut
maybe
from an episode, and then restored or something. Yeah, I promise we talked about this. I need to find which episode it is, so I'm not being a crazy person. But when this came up as a lost opening, I was like, no. You know, I've seen this many times.
Strange. Yeah. Definitely the conversation about like what a Colombian necktie is versus this other stuff, that I distinctly remember that conversation.
100%.
Yeah.
And I remember Brock's head getting cut off with the wings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just I don't know what this DVD's on about.
Yeah.
They promised to have some Toby Huss takes, and they put some in the DVD.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, this is real fun.
Yeah.
It's the part where in Any Which Way But Zeus, he's like, so this is Captain Sunshine, and pointing to Desmond, the butler. And it's just him improvising different ways to say it for a long time.
Yeah.
I love like, so this is Capper. I love Capper.
Yeah. That's like that doesn't read as a mistake. That reads as just Traster's a weird dude and talks and has a very distinctive way of talking. So yeah, maybe he would. But it's just, I mean, just take after take after take of this, and it's hard to determine if it's him, of them not being satisfied with it, or if it's just Toby Huss saying, all right, this needs to lead into, you know, somebody else saying, oh, Captain Sunshine, so this is Captain, so this is Captain, like just giving them every single flavor of it. Yeah.
They show the script. So they show that it's going to have the sunshine bit after it.
Yes.
I don't think any of these are a mistake. Like, I think these are all just different takes of them just saying like, okay, give us another one, until they found the one they liked the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't read them as mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. I have worked enough. I've worked around voice booths enough to know that there are certain phrases that you just, you botched that one. Okay, we repeat it. No. And then you repeat it so much, you get that sense of like, this isn't even words anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Just like everybody is in their head about it. So, but Toby Huss is a professional. So
yeah, I feel like that dude knows his stuff. I can imagine them wanting a different take.
Yes.
You know? And then we get their promos for the finale. When they aired the finale, they showed these during commercial breaks.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah,
so
and
I watched these live.
Yeah, and it is Doc and Jackson in a bar, and they've got fun little jokes. You know, talking about like, oh yeah, we got stuff coming up, but also talking about like, oh, this drink is making me sick, or does this taste like arsenic to you?
Yeah, it is cute.
Yes.
Just like improv some fun at a tiki bar.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Always weird to see the boys. after you're listening to their voice like so often.
I'm very happy that they didn't do the voices in person. It makes my skin crawl when I watch somebody who is a voice actor do the voice.
Really?
Just like in an interview, just the inside the actor studio thing. James Lipton. Can you bring Bart Simpson in here for me? Well, hey, dude. It's like, oh.
I guess I don't associate that with Lipton. I associate that with like Conan or something. Like just throwing that on there. I always love that stuff. Oh. I seek that out because it's surreal. It's like it's the wildest and strongest drug there is. Dan Castellaneta just pump out a homer like nobody's business.
Yeah, it gives me chills. I don't care for it one bit. Just like Seth MacFarlane rolls up and he's just like 3 seconds away from dropping a Stewie. And it's like, oh man,
well, that's Seth MacFarlane though. Like I agree that like Stewie walks up and he's 3 seconds away from dropping a Stewie. Like first of all, Stewie walks up, I'm running because that's a little flesh orb.
Yep.
Like a photo, human flesh Stewie is scarier than Flesh Bart. Like quite a bit.
All hell.
Especially since he had to drag his head like one of the Pep Boys.
Guys are scratching him up.
Yeah, just the big scab where he's like had to drag his like enormous melon.
Oh no.
Where's wife? I would like to fuck wife. Give me wife. Cute wife, father. I will fuck wife. Super scary.
Super.
No thanks. Yeah, but a good voice actor, I don't mind it.
Yeah. Let's do first and worse.
Yeah. Do you want to do that before listener mail or after?
Let's do it after.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it after. Let's do listener mail first.
Yeah.
First off, Frank says via contact, I've noticed quite a few real circumcision, or a few real weird not real circumcision. I suppose those ghost circumcisions. A few real weird circumcision jokes on the show, with the latest being the master talking about cleaning it with a Q-tip. Is that what you guys think regular dicks are like? So fucking weird. Love, Frank, not an American or of a faith that practices it. So Frank's rocking a turtleneck in case anyone was wondering. That's the subtext here.
Brave of him to admit that. Yeah. I think that it is particularly an American sickness for anybody who was born in a time where that was done as just a matter of course for weird hygiene reasons or whatever. I think that that's literally just where it comes from. Is if you're unfamiliar with it, anything that's different will be weird to you, and that probably is the case for the boys too.
Well, it's also one of those things too, where this could just be American, semiotic colonialism.
Yes.
But if you draw a penis, you don't draw the turtleneck like a silhouette of a penis or anything like that is always has the head visible, and the crest, the weird Triceratops-esque crest that it has.
Yeah.
Is always visible. So there's something about just like the platonic ideal of a penis in the consciousness that is a circumcised penis. It doesn't mean that it's right. Yeah. But when I think penis, I think uncircumcised penis.
Yeah. It is American
or circumcised.
Right. It is American cock hegemony. Yeah.
Yes.
We
export our cocks all over the world.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah. And we did during all the wars.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, I don't know what I think a regular dick looks like. I mean, I guess I do, but also I wouldn't call it a regular dick. I guess it's just one of those things. I don't think about, I don't think about the image of a dick very much. It is almost always the idea of a dick that is funny to me.
I think about the image of a dick, and I do consider a circumcised dick to be a regular dick, but also I'm not going to fight anybody about it. It's just what I'm used to.
Yes.
It would be dishonest for me to think an uncircumcised dick is what comes to mind.
Yeah. The penis that I see most often is circumcised, and that is mine.
Yeah. And I'm a man of the world. I'll watch pornography. Every once in a while you get an uncut man on there, and I do admit that it's a little uncanny to me. It's fine once you pull it back. But before that, there's a real I think groping proboscis.
What's waiting in there?
Yeah, is it good? Does it eat through that? There's a weird. I don't know. It is mysterious and unnerving to me in a way that I've definitely been enculturated to, and I don't feel any guilt about because I don't take it that seriously.
Yeah. I make no judgments about whatever genital situation somebody's got going on. So
get to ride the wave, enjoy it, whatever that genital is.
If it feels good, do it.
But I do think in terms of the circumcision jokes on the show, the boys as clones of us are just also have those same preconceptions. And that, it's not monstrous, but you are going to have to clean it with a Q-tip is a funny line.
Yeah. I mean, especially spoken to a teenage girl who is not, probably familiar with the hygiene,
the male
needs.
phallus.
Yeah, with the hygiene needs of the masculine equipment. But so like
the master's also trying to make it sound gross.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the grossest thing that you'd have to do
and
with
also,
it. Like, okay, honey, sidle up.
And kind of saying something about Dean too, which is that he would make her clean him.
Yeah.
which is the actual weird thing about that,
Yeah, which Dean wouldn't do, but again, she's trying to scare her.
Yes.
Scare Triana. So, clean it with a Q-tip. I'm glad that I don't have to clean my genitals at all. Being cut means they just take care of themselves.
Yeah.
They just slaw off a layer of skin every couple of days, and I'm golden. I put that in a plastic bag, tie it off, and throw it in with the dog poop. It's gone. Yesterday's problem.
I mean, this is going. I know it's not going to be gross because it's about hygiene. Anybody who can change their shower head to a shower head that has a little handheld breakout. To spot
Grundle Patrol.
to spot target specific. It's good. It's a life. I mean, life changer is probably overstating it. It
changes your life a little bit.
It is an upgrade. It is an upgrade. Yes. So I would recommend
100%.
it is a $70 to $90 worth spending.
Yeah. When I've lived in apartments with those things, it's really great.
Yes.
I do get cleaner. And sometimes I just wash my dick for fun, as opposed to just letting nature take its course, which I do now.
Yes.
I'm of course kidding. If anyone out there is picturing my dick, it's as clean as the day is long. But not as long as the day is clean. Don't get it mixed. Don't get it twisted.
Sam says via contact, I just want to correct a mistake on the show where one of you claimed that no one has heard of the Iger sanction by saying that I watched it as a teenager. I had a divorced dad and easy access to a weird local video rental store in the 90s, so I saw more Clint Eastwood movies than anyone reasonably should. I remember it being pretty good, but it's been well over 20 years. Hope to hear a full episode about it.
Do you know if this is Sam Bear?
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah, of course it is. Like anytime we're like, nobody has done the thing, Sam Bear's done it. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I believe you. I mean, especially in the 90s,
Oh,
if you're pulling back something as weird as the Iger sanction from a from a video rental store, you're going to come back feeling okay.
No. I used to, everybody has those movies that you watched a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
Because they're on. There's a movie called Throw Another Shrimp on the Barbie. Have I talked to you about that?
No, you haven't.
It's a Cheech Marin comedy film about him getting stranded in Australia and falling in love with a woman who's engaged.
Okay.
It's as dire as it sounds like. It's from those Comedy Central, pre-South Park Comedy Central days when it was just evening at the Improv and then like 2-month-long engagements of Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah. It is 2 p.m. on a summer day and you're home from school. Why not watch War of the Roses?
It's 100%. So Throw Another Shrimp on the Barbie was on there, and I watched it a bunch because it was on. I was at my dad's house for the summer, and the joke I remember from it is that the love interest, her sister, really liked Cheech Marin. The woman, would kind of liked her fiance. Her sister was sexually obsessed with horses. She was a real horsewoman. She loved horses.
Okay.
And there's a part where she more or less tries to sex assault him, which is what happened in the 80s and 90s. And we thought it was jokes. And starts acting like a horse. And then later when he has to sneak through her room or something, he finds a magazine that's just called Naked Men on Horses. And it just shows a man just like naked on a horse, like not erotically or anything, just sitting there. And it was really good. It's like a really funny joke.
That's a very good joke.
That was my Iger sanction.
Yeah.
Thing that I ended up watching as a kid, because you watch anything as a kid.
Of course.
Yeah. Adam says via contact, "Hey guys, not sure if it's too late to write in for the season 3 wrap up, but I figured I'd throw them in my questions anyway. I watched The Venture Bros when it was first on TV, but then slowly fell off during season 4 and never came back to it. I've been loving Orb and reliving those early episodes with you all, and it finally did get me to go back and finish seasons 4 through 7, which I'm super glad I did. Listening to the show also reminded me of a question that's been bugging me since I first watched it in 2008. So at the scene with Sergeant Hatred and the Monarch in the hot tub at Hatred's party, Hatred talks about treating Dr. Venture like a king to get revenge on the Monarch. And my question is, what does treating your archenemy like a king mean in the world of supervillainy? Is it being extra nice, extra mean? We don't see a lot of Hatred arching Venture, so we don't really get a clear answer. Would you love to hear what you think it all means?"
Oh, it absolutely means he's going to treat him real nice. He brings him a basket of howdy do. Yeah.
Yeah, he brings him a basket. We're going full nerf on him. He barely arches him. He just, he keeps having these misunderstandings and then like leaving.
Yep.
He's being real soft on him, I think is what it means.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially for Dr. Venture, another hero who is more into the game, it might be extra mean, but Dr. Venture does not like the pageantry.
Yeah. And he probably barely notices that he is being treated well by Sergeant Hatred. As highlighted by, he still gets annoyed when Hatred shows up.
Yeah. He does make a couple references comparing him to the Monarch. Being like, oh, my last Venture would do this, or my last Arch would do this.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of awareness there. They just didn't make it a focus for the season. They make every season chock-a-block full of lots of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's our interpretation of it.
Yeah.
Finally here, we have Pondo who writes about an episode that we're down on, saying, "I liked Dr. Quim, Medicine Woman, quite a bit. I think the performances, the change of pace, and the gags just work for me, in spite of the self-evident problems. I like the joke about Doc being disgusted by epilepsy enough to write in and say as much. It's really elevated for me by the overwhelming chaos in which it's delivered. I would have liked to see those characters developed in theory, even though I know the showrunners weren't equipped for it. Watching through the whole show with my girlfriend, we kept observing how odd it is that Doc and Jackson are so terrified of writing women, and how terrible those characters generally are. For a show that trades so heavily in humanity and sympathy, their massive nervousness around women is very strange to me. Neither here nor there, but the only Molotov cocktease character beat in the whole show I find charming is her getting offended at Brock mistaking her street clothes for a disguise." And then
You get any hoopty he wants.
A hoopty's a car, a floozy's a girl.
Well, Hank calls her a hoopty.
Does he? Okay, forget that.
Yeah, that's why the hoopty says, "Who's Brock with that hoopty?"
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, and there's a second part to this. Doc being disgusted by epilepsy is a very good joke. I grant that.
Yeah. I completely understand the boys being scared of writing women.
Yes.
Like it doesn't feel at odds to me. It is, it's not a good thing about me. It just wasn't what happened. I didn't have close female friends until my 30s. Like I had some, just a couple, but nobody who I would really consider really close. Even now, like if I put myself in the shoes of the boys, like writing a female character without somebody giving it a once over would make me nervous, because I'd be writing from my perspective. I'd be writing what I know. And it's a different experience of the world.
Yes.
The easy answer to that has always been like if the boys had a third writer, but that wasn't going to work for this show. It was born out of their specific creative partnership. And at the time they made it, it's not like they had freedom and a budget.
Yes.
So I get where they're at.
If this was made today, if they started the show 10 years later and they had more resources, I could totally see them doing, it's a very different show. But Rick and Morty famously started bringing more women writers into the room to kind of change the tone. Yeah.
So some women writers, some LGBTQ.
Yep.
Folk would be useful for how many gay characters are on the show. All that stuff would be good.
Yes.
Ultimately, the fact that the show that we got is as good as it is, it doesn't mean that it's flawless or that it does everything perfectly.
Yes.
And this is something that I personally really appreciate the boys not trying to go outside their lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
that much. It is, as I get older, what feels wisest to me is to stay in one's lane.
Yes.
You know, and yes, that means that sometimes you get a show like the Venture Brothers where it's like two white dudes, two straight white dudes writing it. I think it's okay to have a show, you know, if it's not every show, it should be fewer shows. But the idea there can be a show that's this perspective. I think that's fine. Yeah. Personally.
I can understand the calculus that says it is preferable to withdraw from something that could be a problem than to do it wrong and completely screw it up, even if withdrawing is its own kind of milder, defanged flavor of screwing it up.
Yeah. As two people, you know, you and I who hate being yelled at.
Yes.
You know, like it 100% relate to that.
I understand the instincts. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing I like less than somebody calling me out for something. Like, it's not because I don't want feedback, but it means I screwed up and possibly hurt some people on accident. And that's a really bad feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and the process of getting yelled at enough until I get fixed and better is not only daunting, like I have a very human reluctance to that, even if it is the right move. You know, it's something. I also think that it's just a very long process.
Yes.
You know, is it worth me stepping outside of my lane and hurting people who like us and who listen to us in order to achieve that personal growth? Right? Like, what is the moral calculus of me hurting someone's feelings so I can sharpen myself like a whetstone to get better at speaking to things outside of my lane?
Yeah.
You know, to me, that's a really complicated moral question. It's not something where it's like, yeah, duh, just, you know, try it and get yelled at. You know, getting yelled at is good. It's like, well, yeah, but you're getting yelled at because you hurt some people.
Yeah.
And for every person who corrects you, like there's somebody out there who's just quietly hurt.
Yeah. And, you know, the getting yelled at bothers me, but also the inadvertently hurting people thing bothers me too. And it's like, I could get better, but if the plane's in the air and we are playing with live ammo where people are going to see it, you know, maybe it's worth second guessing if I should, you know, use people's feelings as target practice as I hone my aim, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very complicated question, I think. And it makes sense to me the way the boys handle it. It makes sense. You know, I've come to peace the way that I kind of approach it as well.
Yes.
You know, and if that's unsatisfying to you and that hurts you, I'm sorry about that as well. There's no way to win. It's like one of those things where when people yell at us for disclaiming our opinions on well-loved things, and they're like, you waste too much time on this. This is stupid. And I'm like, yep, if we didn't do it, we'd also get yelled at. You know, there's not.
There are two doors and both of them contain yells.
Yeah, the tiger's behind all the doors is the thing.
Yes.
I don't know what the solution is to make everybody happy. I don't think a lot of people do.
Yeah,
you know,
and also that doesn't exist. Yeah, but you know, I think it is accurate to watch the show and remark on, you know, how notable and noticeable the boys' aversion is. That is an accurate observation. Yeah,
it's accurate, but it's also understandable to me.
Yes. Here's the other part of this, which I think is interesting as both a Venture Brothers fan and a Fallout fan, the Fallout video games. Pondo continues here saying, my partner had the chance to ask James Urbaniak about Fallout New Vegas for me. So James Urbaniak voiced a character in the downloadable content for Fallout New Vegas, specifically Old World Blues. He was the voice of Dr. O, a brain of a scientist that was put into a jar to command a group of brains that running this little town, you know. And it was good. It's good DLC and a good performance. So they continue. After a satisfying bit of shtick as Dr. Venture, he confessed that he was completely unfamiliar with Fallout, being a non-gamer American, and didn't remember much about that role. He did, however, pull up a clip of Dr. O. Is it Dr. O or Dr. Zero?
Dr. Zero.
Dr. Zero, yes. Did pull up a clip of Dr. Zero so I could watch him review the performance for maybe the first time. He assessed that he played the role slightly less sharp and high-pitched than Dr. Venture, which I can appreciate now that he's pointed it out. And he thanked us for pointing it out to him. It was very nice.
Yeah. He's a great man. He's a gent.
Yeah.
And that is really interesting.
This is not a great movie all told, but just for other James Urbaniak stuff. This is a movie that is free on Shudder if you have Shudder, but it's called Dave Made a Maze.
Okay.
It's an independent horror movie about a guy who constructs a cardboard maze inside of his apartment that is bigger on the inside than it is outside, and it's them, going through. Yeah. And James Urbaniak plays kind of a supporting character in that. Who's a friend who's making a documentary about the maze, and so they're in there filming stuff. It is a very good James Urbaniak performance. He's obviously the heavy hitter that they brought into this indie scene. It's not a great movie, but the effects are very good, and James Urbaniak is there, so it might be worth your time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've seen that floated in when people have talked about recent horror movies that are worth watching. It is good to hear that it's not great.
Yeah.
Sincerely, like that sounds like a contradiction, but it's not. Like allowing me to weed this out as, if I'm only going to watch a couple movies a month, that one's not worth it is good to hear.
Yes. Yeah.
Even if I love James Urbaniak.
Yeah. So just throwing that out there in the world of James Urbaniak performances. And then obviously could do a whole show about Review, but
yeah, he's incredible in Review. Really good as R. Crumb in American Splendor.
Oh yeah.
Something I always forget that he's in, but he's wonderful. I want to throw out a twist here for our first and worst.
Okay.
You ready? So this is a double season.
Yes, it is.
In addition to wanting your worst, I want your top 3.
Okay.
That's right, Bubba.
All right.
Yeah. So do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Do you want to ping it to Ponge?
Yeah, let's ping pong. Let's do our worst on this.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to say my worst on this is Return to Malice.
Return to Malice.
Yeah. It just doesn't move enough forward. It doesn't have the jokes that I need. They would retread this ground, like pieces of it better later on. I don't particularly care for Return to Malice. Yeah.
Return to Malice is not great. Agreed. There.
Yeah.
That would be, if I were doing a bottom 3, that would certainly be in my zone.
Yeah.
For that. I think so. There are a couple, like that's one I don't like. I don't like what is it? Pinstripes and Poltergeists.
Yeah.
Very much. But I think I have to give my worst, and it might not be the worst one, but it's the one that when I think about it, it's the most annoying to me, is Assisted Suicide.
Okay.
I find that episode annoying.
Yeah. Go into that.
I like all the stuff, the rusty, like all of that stuff is good, but it's a little too pat on the back itself. It has that feeling to it.
Yeah.
The ending is one of my least favorite examples of like, gotta end now.
Yeah.
Kind of things. And it feels like a lot of these episodes, when we find out they used to be part of something else, I end up feeling like, oh, thank God they separated those. This one feels like it's like stuffed and unstuffed.
Yeah.
The pace of it, I think, is a little bit annoying.
I can agree with that.
I like the end, with Dean sitting in the ants, that's very cute, but all of the stuff inside the mine just feels very hack.
Yeah.
To me. So there are good bits in it, but I think that might be the one that is most annoying to me. And also I didn't want to take yours. Like Return to Malice is really not very good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Even though Return to Malice has that amazing with Doc and Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch.
Yeah,
sitting by the there are good things to every episode in this season. There's no, not to pick on the Pondo, the world's largest organism, the system of sentient mushrooms that lives under the Pacific Northwest, Pondo. But there's no Quim in this season. There's nothing like that in this one. There's nothing that's that bad.
To say a nice thing about Return to Malice, that bonding between Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch and Rusty, like of all of the Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch bonds with somebody through kind of a heartfelt conversation, that pops up quite a bit over the past, like this season and the past one. That is the best of those, I think.
Yeah. It's very good. Like the stuff that it's good at, it's very good at. And in Assisted Suicide, Shore Leave and the boys like horsing around in the yard is real fun. All of this to the doors of perception stuff.
Yes.
Like there's a weird, when you learn about the development of Assisted Suicide, the part that it feels like it kind of cops out and doesn't show a lot of the stuff is text. Like they ran out of money.
Yes.
So, the doors of perception being open doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. We don't do
the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of an annoying episode to me.
Mm-hmm. And also has the weird 21 and Dr. Mrs. the Monarch kind of thing that feels tonally, it clangs. Yeah.
Yeah. Where they make out, which I like. And then later, because they're completely different, like them making out there, Dr. Mrs. the Monarch is drunk and a little vulnerable. And then for her later to be like, yeah, we had a threesome. It's nothing. Doesn't read. The two Dr. Mrs. the Monarchs don't feel consistent.
Yes.
Together. And yes, she could just be going along with the Monarch during Operation Prom, but it doesn't read that way. That feels like a post hoc justification to me.
Yeah. So for the top three, are we doing what we said last week and saying Operation Prom is thrown out, kind of like taking man on the moon off of Automatic for the People? Yeah,
let's say I think that's probably, we would probably agree is the best episode.
Yeah.
Of the season. Let's take that off the table.
Yeah.
It's like a special.
It is unsurprising that would be that would be one of those. So yeah, I think that I don't know. It would be tough to rank these.
But yeah, let's just say ones that.
This is an undifferentiated top three, and we have to accept if we have overlap, because we definitely will. I'm going to throw in mine. This is probably not going to be yours, but I do have and continue to have a soft spot for Everybody Comes to Hanks.
Yeah. Not in my top three, but I do like that episode.
I think it is very funny. I admire their commitment to the bit. They've got excellent scenes in that, and just a tremendous Hank episode. Yes. I'm a Hank boy, at least for now.
I like all the Hank stuff, and I really like the dramatic scenes in that. The bit is not as fun to me.
Yes.
I don't really care about noir pastiches, but I do really like what happens in that episode.
Yeah.
The reveal is good and has emotional dividends and stuff. It would be a middling episode to me for the season, but I do like those bits about it. There's lots of nice things to say.
Yeah.
This is the one I've always said is my favorite episode of the season and maintains in the top three for sure, is The Better Man. I love that episode.
Yeah.
I think that's just, I love Dr. Orpheus. I think that's a really human episode. What's supposed to happen if we set things up right? Oh, I don't know. My mom calls him and says he's a better kisser. That's incredibly good.
Yeah.
Orpheus, I think, has one of the better character arcs in the show, through them not having to make it last the entire series.
Right.
We just kind of spot check on Orpheus as he moves through his arc, and it allows them to have more movement because they don't have to worry about getting to like an end place and then not knowing what to do. They can just put the character away for a while.
Yeah.
If that happens. And then I love the Outrider. I think the Outrider is real fun. I love who opens a portal to hell. What a dick. Nobody wants that. Like it's a very sweet episode.
I am consciously avoiding your the ones that I know that you're going to bring.
It's okay. Despite all the preamble about not doing that.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh no, I'm just going to say it. Perchance to Dean. I like Perchance to Dean quite a bit. Yeah.
I love Perchance to Dean. That was going to be in my three.
Yeah.
But not, it's probably my number three of my three.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Not tons on jokes, but it's a good Dermot episode, and then a really great Doc and Dean episode, which is a character dynamic I'm like growing to really love. Doc trying with Dean.
Yeah.
And he's still failing, but him trying is kind of endearing.
Yeah. Just that whole, Dean going along with it, for this point, right? He is excited about the prospect, and him, this is where he starts learning that he's not cut out for the same life, that his dad is. Yeah. And obviously Hank and Dermot.
Yeah. The attic stooge, putting together the Dean. That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. Possibly, arguing in conversation with the Better Man as my number one is self-medication.
Yeah.
I love this episode. I love, the therapy stuff is all very good and very funny. The emotional beats at the end work. I love, Dr. Z's monologue about like, I'm much happier doing this than I ever was chasing Johnny around with a laser. Like,
yeah.
Get a real life. I love, Lord of the realms of the ring or whatever. The realm returns. Yeah. There's a whole lot of realms in this. Who's that little guy with the axe? That's Grimsby. I like his moxie. All that stuff is very good to me. When did Henry Darger write this? That is a great episode. Very, very funny. And advances the lore in a way that I enjoy.
Yeah, agreed. And I got to be honest with my heart on this one, Bright Lights, Steam City.
Yeah, that would be my number 3 if it wasn't perchance the Dean. Those two are my kind of my ties, so I don't have a third one on top of that. Bright Lights, Steam City is so good.
Yeah. It's good stuff. I forgot how heavy that was. How heavy that was on the Revenge Society stuff. Because I mean, honestly, normally Phantom Limb stuff doesn't necessarily work that great for me. It's fine, but it's real workman-like in a lot of ways. Them doing the tryouts is very good.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And I like the Brown Widow. And I think It's Rusty is one of my favorite musical moments in the show. It's not my favorite.
What's the most popular musical in Germany?
Yeah, Starlight Express for some reason. I love how the more anyone learns about Andrew Lloyd Webber, the more of like a deranged maniac he feels like.
Oh, of course, yeah.
like if you ever like the sequel to Phantom of the Opera, if you ever read about that.
I've not read about that. What give me like the 2-sentence pitch. What's wild about it?
Well, it's a sequel to Phantom of the Opera. If you know the basic, that's basically the one. That's all you need. Yeah. They made a sequel to that story. It's like My Beloved, I think, or something like that. It's called.
Okay.
Yeah, and the songs are real weird. Like you kind of have to hear them, but yeah, it's out there.
Yeah. Man, but just that's the name you hear, Andrew Lloyd Webber. That is associated with theater, and obviously that is culture. So I don't have to think about it too much, right? Like that's culture. That's grown up stuff. Yeah, no, wildly out there.
Super weird. There's not like a lot of bad episodes on this season.
No.
Like when I'm looking at there's other ones that I could argue to my top. Like I really like Handsome Ransom. Like despite any molesty overtones, I still think that's a really good episode.
Yeah.
The Silent Partners is really good.
Yep.
Revisiting that, I liked it more than I did Any Which Way But Zeus is really fun. There are a lot of really good episodes on this season, and the floor is really high.
Yes.
On this, I think that's what makes season 4 so good, is that like your worst episode is a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, agreed. Good season. I'm looking forward to going on to new stuff.
Me too.
But this has been fun to talk about.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing a couple specials before going into season 5. If we're going to end up doing any movies or extracurricular stuff, we want to start sprinkling that in, so we're not ending the show on the Iger sanction, which we don't want to do. So maybe look for that next season.
Yeah,
we'll see. If not next season, then between that season and 6 or during season 6. And thank you for listening. We appreciate you.
Yeah. And I just, you do not have to write in responses near the end. If you have thoughts about season 4 as you're watching, or season 5 as you're watching it, the way to do that is to go to Duckfeed.tv/contact and click the button for Orb, and you'll see the little box there open up for you. We will read them, but then we'll compile them at the end of the season. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/DuckFeed.tv or leave a rating review on Apple Podcast or Podcast Addict or anywhere that podcast reviews are fine, are found.
Yeah.
And until next time,
go Team Venture.